is disgraceful for a member of what would be a party who talks about equality that you want to censor me from standing down as a councillor chair. And I want legal advice on that now. Excuse me. Get any court in here to see if you're within your legal rights. Because you're wrong. As well as morally, it's despicable. And once again, another attack on Brendan Curran and Brendan Curran's family. Which I expect from you, and it is absolutely despicable. And I look at the rest is sitting around here, and I'm no wonder you're embarrassed. Because I'd be embarrassed with making. And I think it's your plan of republicanism, which is destroying republicanism in this area. You can smirk all you want.
I'm not smirking at all.
Well, that's how you must be going blind. And I am legally allowed, and entitled to resign.
We'll get opinion on that there.
I don't need your opinion, man.
Well, you will.
Standing order says that I can resign if I want.
You will not be speaking.
Mickey, what are you going to do? Put the out?
Well,
then I will speak, Mickey. And then I will say it.
prefer to see somebody get somebody in to put you out. It's not going to happen, Brendan.
Well, do you know what, Mickey? At least that would be more less embarrassing than what you try to do to censor. Absolute disgrace. I'm delighted. It's your censor. You're refusing to let me have my say. And it isn't Chairman's business. I'm entitled to resign from this council. And after 30 years, 28 and a half representing the party, making the t-shirt that you wear so shamelessly, and then you refuse me. That's equality. That's what Sinn Fein's about. This is the equality. This is what you're voting for. And do you know what? Mickey Brady's his representative. Get out and vote for him. I've been called a murderer and a killer and a bomber.
As I'm not even a legal opinion and nobody's here.
You know what? They never stop me from speaking. Go ahead, Terry Hardy. Tell them all the boys and girls to get out. But I'm reading it out for the people that's here because it's embarrassing. And it's shameful that our mayor is away out as well.
Couldn't shame Sinn Fein enough.
I just want to thank my wife, who despite the old sluts and attacks on us and our home, stood shoulder to shoulder with me throughout the entire journey. I want to thank the children, who still have to live with the legacy of being the children of a Republican ex-prisoner and a councillor, who had to sleep in their bedrooms with instinct plate armour speed on their bedrooms to keep them safe at night. I want to thank the council staff who sat up in the wee small hours of the council meeting and who helped me. And I want to talk particularly about Paddy O'Hagan, Kevin O'Neill, Thomas McCall, and of late Eddie Curtis, and all the council staff who work in all the wee small offices, who make us councillors as successful as we are and as accountable as we are, and I think that should be paid tribute to. Life as a councillor, and in particular life as a Sinn Fein councillor, was a very dangerous and difficult place to be. It was also a very lonely place to be. And I often remark that no matter how packed a room was, because of my brand of politics and because of my unrepentantness, there was always room for me, because people give you that leper effect and move away from me. I was elected as the first Sinn Fein councillor in Uri in over 70 years. I was the first Sinn Fein chairman. I was the first Republican chair of the local policing committee, and those were groundbreaking and leading our community, and I'm very proud of that. Very importantly, the last 18 months, and it's a pity my Sinn Fein colleagues of the past didn't stay here for this, because they're up their neck in it, as you've seen from Mickey. The last 18 months have been particularly difficult for my family and I, where I had no choice but to remove myself from what I call the Uri and Sir John version of Sinn Fein, a group which has become the property of a small domineering clique controlled by a state-night character in Sinn Fein, who tries to remove his opposition by the gang mentality. And I, as a whistleblower, raised this issue, and I raised it within the Republican movement. And they came and they visited me and my wife, and they took our opinion. And on the basis of that opinion, they then went and spoke to other people, and they discovered that Brendan Curran was right, that what was going on in the Republican movement in Uri was wrong. So they set about a whole review, and they removed the leadership of the Republican movement in Uri, and they replaced it by a man from Short Strand. They put him in place to try and clear up the Uri situation. For 6 months, they tried that and it didn't work. Back. And as a whistleblower, I then became the victim. And whistleblowers, like sex abuse victims, they become the victim. And speaking about sex abuse victims, I raised within Sinn Fein about a paedophile priest who had abused hundreds of our children in this district, in all our schools in this district. And I was told by this steak knife character that that was negative publicity, that I needed to drop that, and we shouldn't be talking about that. That's how Sinn Fein seen it then. And then we talk about the young fella who came out recently, Francie Malloy, made an absolutely absurd and scandalous decision, and then he withdrew it quickly. But he done the damage. But see the victims in this area and in Francie's area, he's told them to keep their mouth shut because nobody's going to listen to you. And sadly, that's what is going to happen. Victims will not come out, and victims will find it hard to come out. So that's my history with regard to that. Negative campaigning. That's what raising the issue of child abuse. Hundreds of them in our schools, and that's what's classed as by some of our Sinn Fein products. Regrets. I have to say, in my 43 years as Republican, I regret very little. And that's not to say that I would not have wished that there was another way to achieve the things. But personally, I once again reiterate my regret, and he's not here tonight, Davy Hyland and his family, the Republican movement created him. Again, the steak knife character spun the wheels and the yarns by Davy Hyland, and people followed it, and I sadly did too, and I regret that. And then we had the issue of the killing of Ian Marley, the son of a good friend of mine. And again, steak knife put out the lies, and I was the public mouthpiece, and I spun out those lies, believing they were the truth, and they weren't. They were wrong, and they were shameful. And these people still talk about executed cows. They talk about Jean McConville, when the Republican movement, in fairness to it, talked about it being terrible and a dark part of our history. We have people in that clique down there who still call them executed cows. And that's why I found that there was no place for my brand of honourable politics within Eurasian Spain. And I just hope it isn't replicated throughout the rest of the district. And other people will verify every single thing that I have said here. So, I say to them, and so now it's something that they use. The higher they build their walls, the taller I become. So I don't care what lies, and they walk out. Shameful. And I can be sure that Mickey, hopefully, will have to answer to Jerry Allen why he walked out. And they talked about the SDLP a couple of weeks ago over it. And they refused to let a man who gave 43 years of his life, a lot of it in prison, to have his last say as a councillor in this chamber. But the people will judge them. So, I do want to thank the council workers. I've enjoyed my role as a councillor. I've actually been able to do a lot of good for the council. I want to thank my councillor colleagues, even though sometimes we didn't agree politically, they helped us to achieve the greater goal, whether it's economic development and all the rest of that. So, on behalf of myself and my family, I would just like to wish you well and hope his work. And don't do these people. Shameful. And Charlie Cletton recorded about his daughter. It's there on Facebook for everybody to see. And I'll show him the private messages his daughter sent me. So let him take me to court. But sadly I have to take this council to court because it breaks the decency that I showed this council. So, best of luck to you in your new term, and particularly Jackie, myself and Frank in return. We just slip into the sunset.
Brandon, could I wish you well, not just yourself, but all the other councillors in the region, Jackie, Andy, Frank, John, and quite sure.
Two Johns.
I can tell you, just as you were going through all that, it's not easy being an SDLP councillor sometimes either, right? You know, you mentioned the DPP there. I was the first one in, and it was difficult at that time. But your term in council has been a long one. You'll never be accused of shying away from what you believe, and I just wish you well on behalf of the SDLP and all our outgoing councillors. It is, in my planning Wednesday out of the era. And it'll be interesting to see how the new super council groups out.
Anyways, Brandon, all the best to you. And I know that when I was in here working in the council, I always admired Brandon because in the early stages he was the only Sinn Fein representative on the council and Jim McAllister. Brandon was the first chairman. As I said, it's disappointing tonight that all I want to do is Brandon couldn't bring forward a proposal that I was only asking and requesting that the new super council look at the situation again in light of all the concerns and protests that arose beyond the it was only just a red wanted to look at it again, and all I was asking was to look at it again. So taking this opportunity, and I'm doing it now publicly, but all I can do is look at the whole situation again. That's all you have to do. But just to find the restraint and the song, I know the song, you can read more than fire and all the way. Decent, hard-working people. I think Brandon would be missed. The rest of it, Frank and John, all our colleagues that's not scored today. But Brandon would be missed in this position. They fought for the best of Uri and one of the future best of it.
Brendan, just on account of, and I know Henry, you're going to go in there to wish them all the best, right? But I just want to tell you that the SDLP, the Second Guy, met with the officials, and we actually came up with a proposed, we asked for a proposed compromise in the new council to accommodate the private lessons on the road in general. So I don't want you to think that we did all.
We didn't hear that.
We didn't, but I just want to wish you the best of luck. I think it's my kids at one point, so we might agree politically, but not a bad time, that's right.
Tonight we have very, very rough talk. Between myself and council. Very, very, very rough. And I see the other night there is accusing me of throwing them that I will hand over everything. But the curious thing is, I know exactly where I stand with them. That's one of the things that's always struck me in this chamber. All the rest of these chambers, you never know where you stand. One minute there's mainland, the next minute there's outland. Curran and Curran's doing, he's always been the same. He's a Republican. I hate him for that. I hate his politics. But at least I knew exactly where it stood. And there's even been times over the last 20 years when I've been in this chamber where there's been glimpses of humanity from him. And I'm thinking on one occasion in particular, whenever this council wanted to stop Tilkey Hockey Club getting this money to force them to do, this council was forcing them to open on a Sunday. And lo and behold, who was the councillor who stepped out of it and said, look, this isn't right, if we want to keep it shut on Sunday, let them do it. Councillor Curran. So while I detest this politics, I don't know anything about him personally, but I detest what he's done in the past. He said maybe it was me referring to him and called him a super and all that. He knows that. But at least I know exactly what it was and what he did. And we'll leave it at that. But when it comes down to politics in this chamber, at least when you know what you're dealing with, then you can work. But when these sinners, you never know from one minute to the next what they are.
I would like to say also when I came into the council in Washington for many years after a lot of major problems with him, and the debates about his politics, which I didn't agree with whatsoever, but because he was always inclined to shout his way into trouble and then to shout his way out of it. But over the years, he became quite an astute politician. He was very hard-working councillor and did an awful lot of good for the area in Uri. And I got to know him quite well, and I wish him well in the future. I never agreed to stay with his politics, particularly during the years of the Bottom Ballot. But I do wish him and you every success and a long and happy life in the future. We always have trust,
rather than just very, very small thank you to his friends.